Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the City of Annapolis Board of Appeals special virtual meeting for September 17th, 2025. The meeting's being broadcast on the YouTube channel. The agenda for tonight's meeting may be found on the City of Annapolis website. On the agenda, you'll also find a number of other useful links, one to the YouTube channel, one to the comment form that you need to complete if you want to testify, either in writing or in person, and one to the city's database for information about the case you'll hear tonight. Let me remind everyone that communications with the board about any case by anyone other than a party to the case must go through the comment form. All communications by parties with the board must go through board liaison Kim Consoli in the Planning and Zoning Department. No one ever should contact any member of the board directly about any case before the board. So with that, we'll begin with a roll call, if you would, Ms. Consoli.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes.
Mr. Zazali.
Here.
Dr. Chen.
Present.
Mr. Ramsden.
Present.
We do not have Mr. Hector or Mr. Walsh. We have 4 members present, Mr. Chairman.
All right, that's a quorum. That will do, and they're the finest members too. So have the members of the board had a chance to review the agenda? Are there any corrections or additions?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. I think we also have minutes for the regular meeting of September 2nd, 2025. Are there any corrections or additions to the draft minutes?
Move to approve.
Second? Is there a second?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thanks very much.
For the record, I did not vote on that one. I wasn't there.
You weren't there.
Oh, right.
All right. So we get to real business. Our only real business item tonight is special exception application 2025-05, application by Dock Street Venture LLC, the applicant to establish a standard restaurant in the C2 Conservation Business District in the existing building located at 142 Dock Street, most recently occupied by Mission Barbecue. Special exception application relates to a standard restaurant of 89 seats. So, Mr. Meekins, would you care to introduce the application for us?
Sure, I would. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mike Meekins, Senior Planner in Current Planning, City of Annapolis Planning and Zoning. Mr. Gallagher took basically all the words out of my mouth with the introduction of the special exception for a standard restaurant in the C2 Conservation Business District. We had no public comments for this. The notice of this hearing was advertised in the newspaper, and I'm going to have to defer to Mr. Dales for affidavits of the signage and the mailings, because I don't have those documents in front of me.
Mr. Dales, can you confirm that those rules were complied with?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. We have the affidavits already prepared and signed. If they haven't reached Mr. Meekins, I'm not sure why, but they've been completed and sent.
Okay. All right. Mr. Dales, would you like to be heard for the applicant?
I would. I will keep it brief, as I trust that you always review the materials submitted with the application.
You have indeed, carefully.
Carefully review.
Yeah.
This is an application for a standard restaurant in the location of a previously existing restaurant that simply had its special exception expire after shutting down and coming under new ownership that wasn't sure or ready to proceed with its next restaurant concept yet. So we have 2 witnesses here this evening. one who can speak to the concept and the operations of the restaurant from the applicant's group. And then another is the architect, Mr. Nook, and he could speak to the floor plans. Given that both of those issues are addressed in our application, I will very briefly ask for summary and key issue testimony from both of them. And then if the members of the board present then have questions, we'll address any of the specifics for floor plans or operations through your questions to our witnesses. So if that's all right, Mr. Chairman, I'd proceed, but ask to swear in Mr. Nook and also Mr. Brian McCarthy's here too as well. So McCormick is here as well.
All right, Mr. Nook, Mr. Bryan, Mr. McCarthy,
McCormick.
Do you affirm, subject to penalties for perjury, that the evidence you give tonight will be true to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
I do.
All right. As Mr. Dale's indicated, we've read the submissions, we've reviewed the plans, we've got a pretty good idea. So if you would just tell us what you think is important that might not be adequately covered in your submissions. And I'd be interested if you'd just highlight to what extent what you're proposing is different from what the previous use was.
Mr. Chairman, I'll proffer to that question that this is a different, this restaurant is of a different nature than was Mission Barbecue. But as you'll hear in testimony, it is the concept we're proposing here is very much in keeping with the other businesses on Dock Street and the City Dock area, and it will be operated by a group that has a wealth of experience and can offer the City Dock community a great deal of assurance that it'll be operated safely and in a manner that will not disrupt the community. So I've heard your guidance, and I'll ask Mr. McCormick to speak first. Brian, could you just tell the board a little bit about your background, what your relationship is to this property and your experience in the restaurant industry?
Sure, absolutely. Brian McCormick, I'm the Chief Operations Officer for Atlas Restaurant Group. Been employed with the group for 13 years. With this project, so I manage all of our operations. And with this project specifically, I'm a partner in this project and in the project that we currently operate in Annapolis, Chop Tank.
So would you talk a little bit about this specific concept here? Touch on the menu, the concept menu you sent to me today that the board has not seen. So we want to introduce it as an exhibit, but if you could reference it as you speak and just talk about what you're proposing to do in this space.
Sure. So the idea of the space, the concept would be Admiral's Cup. We already operate one of these concepts. So this is an expansion of the brand, specifically for the Annapolis community with its ties back to the Naval Academy. This will be a 2-meal period restaurant servicing lunch and dinner 7 days a week. There is a menu that is a preliminary menu is proposed and still being developed, but it contains about 24 to 30 items, food items on the menu. We expect it to be, served as a full service restaurant with indoor dining and bar seating, and trying to think what else, with a focus on sandwiches, specialty made pizzas, and appetizers and salads.
Now, you mentioned as you introduced yourself that you work with Atlas Restaurant Group, and there's another restaurant of the same name in Fells Point, Baltimore. It's my understanding that you've named this proposed location the same because you feel it fits the community, but it's not necessarily the same operational concept as you have in Fells. Is that right?
It will not be the same operational concept, no. The concept that we have in Fells Point is only a 1 meal period, so it only services dinner. It is a more beverage-centric concept because that's what the community entails and has demand for. This community, we believe, is a much more active dining community with foot tourism, foot traffic that we've experienced at our other establishments. So we're more excited to offer a full service restaurant here with a full kitchen staff, management staff, front of house staff, probably about 35 to 40 full-time positions for this restaurant.
And we'll go back to comparisons to the Fells Point Admirals Cup in a moment, but you mentioned your other location in the city of Annapolis. In terms of scale, this is a much smaller location than your other operation in Annapolis. The Atlas's other operation, not yours, but is that correct?
Yes, it's about we anticipate it's about, I mean, it's almost a tenth the size and a tenth the seating capacity almost. So it is we view this as a much smaller operation.
Right, and we can get into some of the details with Mr. Nook in a moment, but will you talk a little bit about your experience throughout the many restaurants you've been involved with in maintaining safe, secure, quiet, and well-functioning operations throughout the restaurants you've worked in?
Sure, of course. So we try and adhere to the environment, the atmosphere, remaining within the concept of the neighborhood, meaning that we want the sidewalks to be clean, we want the area to be neat, we want we want street appeal from guests. So that has to do with trash and refuse removal. There's a constant checklist for the manager about walking the property and surveilling not only the interior but the exterior of the building to make sure that there's constant curb appeal and street appeal. As far as other safety and security measures, we adhere to all noise restrictions that may be present in any of our operations. We employ a third-party security company for those restaurants that need it. That carries, they employ off-duty police officers and other security agents if needed. So we have a security plan in place if needed and warranted, and we utilize that across a number of other venues that handles crowd control. That handles underage identification, that handles anything that would be deemed as unsafe.
And be concerning for your group and or for the public. Is that right?
Correct. So that's both for team members and patrons.
And so your staff generally, would you represent that your staff will be well trained in alcohol awareness, well trained in crowd management, and have a directive to make sure that the operations of the restaurant don't disrupt the nearby businesses or the community?
Yep. So I myself have a crowd management certification, as well as the management that we put in place will have crowd management certifications. And then as far as alcohol awareness and safety, we put all of the bar team through TIPS certification training, and the management as well.
Okay. Now, and some of those things are typically more relevant for liquor licenses, but there are several criteria in the special exception requirements that I think that's relevant to. And so I would just ask now one specific issue I want to get into, and then we can move over to Mr. Nook's testimony. There is a live entertainment aspect in the Fells Point Admirals Cup, and there is one proposed for this location. But could you differentiate those for the board members so they understand the difference between what occurs in Fells Point Admirals Cup versus what you're proposing here?
Sure. So the Admirals Cup in Fells Point is we do have it defined as a music venue, because it is this area itself is very musically driven. This venue in Annapolis that we're proposing is the live entertainment would be an accent to the operations rather than the main focus. So we propose being open again anywhere from 12 p.m. until 12 p.m. until 12 a.m. So approximately 12 hours a day. And the entertainment will only happen for between three and 4 hours a day, perhaps. So anywhere from 25 to 30% of the overall time that we're open.
And it's my understanding from discussing this proposal with you and the architect that it's important that to you that the floor plan remain open for customers of the restaurant and food and drink rather than the live entertainment aspect. So you are limiting the space within the floor plan that you're going to have dedicated to any kind of entertainment. Is that right?
Yep. So on the floor plan itself, there's only a 10 by, I don't know the exact measurements, but it's a 12 by 12 area in front of the stage area. So we would adhere to any capacity that's required, but there's not much capacity other than standing in and around the bar area, and there's not much of there's not a whole lot of other space to accommodate a large number of guests.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Mr. McCormick. Anything else you want to add?
Not presently. If there's any questions.
Okay. Yeah, well, Mr. McCormick will be available for questions if the board has them for him. I'd move to Mr. Nook's testimony now, please.
Or do we want to pull up the exhibits?
Yeah,
Bill?
Mr. Costello, if you're there, could you please pull up the Exhibit C? I think we skipped over A and B just for quickness. Exhibit C is the drawing package. And we won't belabor this, Mr. Chairman, but Mr. Nook, if you could just please describe if we can go to sheet, the furniture plan, and Mr. Nook, if you can direct Eric to which sheet that is, that'd be great. But if we could just
Sure, yeah.
the furniture plan so we can describe it generally for the board and have them understand what's going to be happening inside the space.
Yeah, Eric, sheet 603, and if you want to zoom in on the first floor, we'll go ahead and other one, that's the second floor. If you go to the bottom of the sheet, there you go. Thank you very much. So it looks like a lot of you have already reviewed the drawings, so I'll kind of keep this to what has been added, and generally for this project, it's pretty minor interior renovations to this project. On the first floor, there will be one new wall that will be built to divide the kitchen area from the dining area. Previously at Mission Barbecue, this was open. You could see what was going on in the kitchen. This is now going to be a solid wall that divides the kitchen area, back house, food prep from the dining area. The other thing that is new as part of this plan, as you can tell, is the bar. That bar on this first floor, as you come in through the existing entrance doors from Dock Street, will be able to seat 24 occupants, 10 patrons. We have space for some fixed seating along the Dock Street storefront for about 10 guests. And then there is the table style seating that you see in the remainder of the open space that can seat about 12 patrons. And then there's also some standing room only drink rail along the edges that per code we can have 14 people per square foot at those drink rail stations. As Brian and Phil talked about, there is a designated area for stage for live music. That's located on this drawing at the lower left, identified as stage. And it's really, in this corner one, given the location of Dock Street here on the corner, it's, the farthest from any residence physically located in the plan. But it's also in this corner, again, as Phil spoke about, that any music can be focused inwardly to the patrons and projected towards the inside of the restaurant for those to enjoy. It's not to permeate to the exterior or the perimeter of the space. It's really to be background, ambient, enjoyable music for those who are at the table.
Mr. Nook, just so that doesn't seem
Sure.
like an obvious statement for the board members, the alternative would be to locate, a stage on the side walls or rear wall. And although that, the location may be fine, you're saying that the projection of the sound will be going outwards towards the street as opposed to where you've located it to project the sounds inward. Is that what you're just to make sure?
Yep, that is exactly correct. Really project it inwardly, focused to the space, and not have any of it permeate throughout the edge. Correct.
Okay.
As you can also see, just physically, the kitchen takes up almost about 50% of the floor plate here on the first floor, and the first floor kitchen is where all food prep is going to happen. And then there's also some ADA compliant bathroom on this floor as well for guests. Eric, if you'd like to scroll up to the second floor. Again, what's new about this floor plan versus when it was the Mission Barbecue is a new wall between the dining room area and the second floor storage and kitchen support spaces. Again, you will also see a bar that's approximately the same size as the first floor, located in the center of the space, with the remaining open space available for table seating. There is not any fixed seating here on the second floor. So we're looking about 21 seats at the bar, and I believe, let me look at my notes here, 22 occupants for table seating,
Right.
and
So
then
just
just
to
a
clarify
handful
that
of
terminology, different jurisdictions are, in the custom of using different terminology. When we say there's no fixing, we mean there's nothing that's actually fixed to the floor. These are
Correct.
limited seats. They can be moved if needed.
Correct. Yeah, there's no banquettes or something like that that's bolted down to the floor. This is all table style movable seating up here on the second floor. Again, we've got some ADA compliant bathrooms, and then on this floor in the upper left, in that kind of dashed semicircle space, that is designated for not live music, but a DJ could be set up in that area. And again, same as the first floor, the concept is to put it in this upper left corner on the plan so that any music is again projected inwardly for the patrons as entertainment as they're at the bar or the seating area.
So in this part of the city, when we're talking about a special exception for a standard restaurant, I think the primary issues that we are, as a community, interested in are often noise and smells. And you've talked a good bit about noise and how the live entertainment noise will be mitigated and how it's being designed to reduce those noises or the impact in the community. But with regard to smells, can you talk a little bit about how any smells from the kitchen um, will be experienced by the nearby community? And I think most importantly, with regard to trash, since I know you've kind of gone above and beyond with this floor plan on trash, can you talk about how trash is going to be handled and why it is that the way you've designed this, the way that it's going to be operated will significantly reduce or eliminate any impact on the community for trash or kitchen smells?
Absolutely, yeah. So we'll start with the trash. Eric, if you wouldn't mind scrolling back down to the first floor level. Given that this particular site location does not have a dumpster or a dumpster pad, the way that this is going to be handled, and as I understand it, has been handled previously, is that all trash will be put in the cold storage facility, walk-in cooler. That way it maintains, again, keeps any smells or odors from permeating, one, through the space, and two, out into the exterior.
So
And then
just to
with
pause
this,
there, what you're saying in layman's terms is that one of the walk-in coolers that usually be used for food will not be used for food at all for health department reasons, but will be used entirely as trash storage to make sure all of the trash is contained and locked in this a cooler essentially.
that is exactly correct. And then with the scheduled pickup with the company that will do the refuse removal, that will be scheduled to be then taken to the street right at the time of pickup. So it's not sitting out on the curb for any length of time. And that will be a coordinated effort, again, to minimize any trash sitting on the curb. It will happen very quickly and move on through.
We have a we have a pickup. We have a scheduled pickup for 7 days a week.
Thanks, Brian.
Exactly.
And for kitchen smells, Mr. Nook, can you speak to that?
Yeah, so the existing exhaust system is well functioning. And again, we are actually making some of the spaces right-sized, but we're not reducing the previous exhaust. So we're going to have well capacity in terms of exhausting anything through the mechanical system, so that nothing is kind of permeating onto the street, and the fume hoods. I mean the hood above the kitchen area is working great as it is now, and will continue to function as such.
Okay,
So
and
we're
just,
we're not really changing that. If anything, we're making it more efficient.
I think we want to keep it brief, and so we'll stop there generally, and you'll have an opportunity to speak more if the board members have questions. But one just factual question to conclude here, so the board has a sense of scale. What's the overall actual table and bar seating proposed here for both floors total?
Yeah, let me pull that up. So for the first floor, we've got 12 fixed seats, 24 bar seating, 14 folks I'm sorry, 10 at the fixed seating, 12 at the tables. So for a total of 22, 24 at the bar seating and 14 standing. So you're going to have that's going to total up to 60 occupants on the first floor.
Okay.
On the second floor, no fixed seating, as we said, 22 at the tables, movable tables, 21 at the bar seating, and 4 people can be at the drink rail. So that's a total of 47.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure we got that out there for the board so they'd have the facts. We'll conclude there, Mr. Chairman, with our testimony. I think
The bar,
Yes.
to me, the second floor, it looks like the table seating is 30. You've got 8, 16, and that
Let me make sure
four,
I'm
4 fours, then you've got another 8 is 24, and then you got 6 is 30.
I think that's correct.
24. You are correct. I need to adjust my count there.
Apologies to the board. We mean to misrepresent that. We're just miscounting.
Yeah, sorry about that.
And 21 at the bar? So,
On the second floor, 21, yeah.
so
There's kind of a weird column that we're working around.
that's 111 rather than 89. Okay. Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, we're going to conclude our testimony there. And I would just say the only other issue we didn't get to in testimony in an effort to keep it brief was that the city dock is obviously changing now, and it's changing in accordance with the plan that's been, in the works for years now. And when we were working with staff to have a review of this application, multiple staff members at DPZ were keen to point out to us that the sidewalks in front of the property are going to be expanded. The pedestrian experience in general at City Dock is going to be enhanced. And so activating this space we think is important. And we think this is going to be a quality addition to a changing, vibrant City Dock area. And you have a very capable operator proposing to do this here, to put a restaurant back in where a restaurant was. So we are ready for any questions you have, but I think this makes all the sense in the world, and it meets all the criteria for the special exception.
Okay. If you'd like to take down the shared screen, board members, questions? Mr. Zazali?
Has the applicant or Mr. Dales read all 9 conditions in the staff report?
We have, yes.
All right, I would like to make a number 8. The staff is a little ambiguous to me, and I'd like to tighten that one up a little bit. Noise from the established shall not disturb the peace and quiet and shall not be audible beyond the building. So the code is a little more. I don't want anything that could be found later to be inconsistent with existing code as it is written. So I'm going to ask the staff to take a second look at that one. It's a decibel reading at the property line there's a fairly engineered approach. The problem is we don't have staff to do decibel readings. Noise is transient, and so, but bottom line is I'm going to request the word noise be changed to music, and the shall not disturb the peace and quiet is a little too subjective for me. So the live music shall not be audible beyond the property line. That's what I'm going to ask it to say.
Mr. Zazali, if you're looking to make it more objective, I very much appreciate that and support that. Would it be, would you support the idea that the concept, the conditions say it complies with all city noise ordinances? It's already an
So
objective.
I want to tailor it specifically to this application, but not be in conflict with the existing city noise ordinance.
Okay.
That would be my two goals there. So that if the city or if the stricter of the two is condition 8 that says music shall not be permitted audible beyond the property line, that is what I wish it would say. So long as that is not in violation or inconsistent somehow, it's stricter. I'm going to argue that it's stricter, but that it doesn't create a conflict later that opens up interpretation.
I apologize for asking this, Mr. Zazali. I
Yeah.
think that's a very straightforward suggestion, but the property line at the front of the building is essentially the front door. So
Well, you've already agreed that it shall not be audible noise of any kind, dishes clanking, customers waiting, right? I'm
Sure,
trying to help you. Trying to help you out a little bit.
no, I understand. To finish the question though, if the front door opens, obviously you're going to hear the noise outside the property line. So is there a way that you could tailor that, or as you draft your opinion, tailor it so that it's not so rigid as
Sure. I mean, I'm comfortable that there's a way that you can say music shall not be consistently heard in its ordinary operating state, doors, windows closed, it's whatever,
sounds reasonable.
we can get through there. And then my last request, Bob will bring it up, but since we're having a deliberation here, and I think this is really all about the conditions for this special exception, is we have been imposing a 10th condition or an additional condition whereby we set up a mechanism for complaint review applicant or application or title right holder to respond to the complaint, and then a fact-finding endeavor. Bob, I'm sure you're going to want to insert that here. Have you prepped your
Yeah, Mike,
comments for that
Mike
eventuality?
Mike has the condition. I know Phil has seen it before.
I've gotten used to you guys putting this in now. I've gotten better at explaining it to clients after a hearing. So I think that's just something we can accept for sure.
Okay. And other than that, I am as a partial owner of a restaurant group myself, I am completely familiar with the Atlas Group. I understand they're well-run organization. They have 25 or so brands. I don't know what it was at the last count. And I also know that this is not Fells Point, and that the Admiral in Fells Point is a different environment, but you are not drama-free up there. So, thank you for at least alluding to the fact that it's not the same place, it's not the same customer, it's not the same business model. But we are obviously doing our due diligence as a board empowered by the city of Annapolis and the citizens of Annapolis to ask these questions and make sure you understand that we endeavor to retain the right to make sure that we are empowered to not let it become a problem.
And Mr. McCormick will correct me if I say anything wrong here, but I would proffer to the board that the reason this location is going to be similarly branded, similarly named, is that it fits so well with the city of Annapolis and the Naval Academy to call it Admiral's Cup. That was really the reason.
Sure. You made that clear enough to me. And I think, look, it's perfectly appropriate. And I worry that, for me personally, my own opinion, that I worry about a restaurant in sheep's clothing, right? Like, we understand that our language that governs our decisions is limited, and we don't have things like fast casual. There's a lot of issues with the antiquated nature of our board, but we also have a consistent history of granting special exceptions for a restaurant, but denying the music, right? And seeing how the operator behaves and comes back and then invited them to come back at a later time and ask for a music license later. And we have done that. And we have also we have given limited non-amplified music. So we are sympathetic and not so rigid that we can't try to accommodate the risk of to the public with the rights of the property owner or operator, I should say.
Christian, let me interrupt you for a second
Yeah.
here. When you reference condition 8, I think you were looking at the staff report dated
Yes.
September 4th.
Yes.
All right, that was superseded
No, it was? Okay.
by a staff
Yeah.
report dated September 11th,
Where's that one?
which
Under-
has 11 or has,
Mr. Meekins emailed it to us,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Christian.
yeah,
I
that-
flew back from LA today, so I'm a little behind the curve.
that was, and that has the same, your comment on that condition 8 applies. It's just condition 9 in the new set.
Okay, yeah, so
And the
whatever the amended revised numbering,
The new set of conditions
Right.
is more extensive, and I think it reflects a great deal of work on the part of Mr. Meekins and the director. I think
Okay, great.
I think it's terrific.
I'll pull it up
When
on
you
my phone
first
right
look
now.
at it, the first condition refers to a specific list of all the drawings that we rely on, and at first glance, my reaction was, is this overly restrictive? And after talking to Mr. Meekins, I'm satisfied that it's not. I mean, you do have to follow all these drawings, but if there is something that you want to change, the director has the authority, which we've seen him exercise, to allow minor modifications on his own discretion.
Yeah, I see them now, Bob. Thank you. I got them on my
So
phone.
I think it's, in my view, it's a good set of conditions, an evolution, and it does pick up our standard enforcement condition.
And Mr. Chairman and all members of the board, I would suggest that the reason that the conditions are so well tailored and specific is that this application had a very involved pre-application meeting, and a lot of these issues were discussed with staff openly up front. And the building permit process for this renovation has been in progress for quite a while. So a lot of the specific issues that aren't usually dealt with until after we come see you have already been made known and discussed with DPZ staff. So I think that's why you see the very well-tailored conditions.
Christian, do you have anything else?
That's it. Thank you, Bob.
Dr. Chan?
So the irony of the lengthy discussion about the location of the stage on the first floor is that it is right by a front door. There are 2 front doors. And in my extensive experience at a club that has live music every Wednesday night, when that door opens and closes, man, it is loud. And the band comes, I don't care. It's also facing inward at this club that I go to, and it is incredibly loud. So I don't know, to Christian's concern, it is a bit ironic to me that you placed it right by the front door, because it will be loud, and you essentially have what's going on here is a bar with some restaurant seating. So that door is going to get a lot of activity. And if people are moving in and out, they're waiting to get in, they're holding the door open, the band noise is going to come out.
Mr. Nook,
So
maybe
that's one concern of mine. And then in the revised staff report, Mike, the number 89 is in there for the seating. I guess we need to know what the real number is.
We do. It's 111.
Yeah, so I don't know if for Mike that larger number impacts anything, any of your analysis? I'd just like to hear a comment on that.
Sure, Dr. Chen. That number going up from 89 to 111, that doesn't impact our review, staff's review, but essentially within the building permit review process, the fire marshal will be reviewing the occupancy load for the structure. So that's gonna come under review as well.
And Mr. Nook, could you respond to Dr. Chen just a little bit to add, to describe the alternative locations you considered for the stage and why you've located it where you did? Obviously, it's very common sense for the observations she's made, but could you talk about how the location you've proposed is the best in your opinion?
Yeah, there a few things went into consideration for that location. One, as we talked about, Dr. Chen, whether you agree or not, is that having this kind of inwardly focused projection of the music. Two, it's kind of the area under the stair. So it was kind of this space where you couldn't have people seated. There really wasn't a great use for it. We wanted to take advantage of kind of that dead zone under the stair in terms of the stage itself and also a place for like equipment and things like that that could be tucked in under the stair. And without speaking out of turn, kind of and maybe Brian can talk to this, like while the band is playing, given that, like you said, there are two doors, maybe when there's music playing that, the door that's farthest away is the one that is in operation and you direct patrons to that. I don't know, that seems like a possibility. But given the kind of the opposite corner is where the fire standpipe is currently located, so that was out of question. And then kind of the other area is near the bathroom, which we didn't want to interrupt anybody going to the bathroom. And then the other one is kind of deals with the flow of kitchen staff coming in and out of the back kitchen in terms of being able to circumnavigate through the space. So given all those factors, this was the spot that for live music and a stage that we felt was the best, since it was this area, underutilized area under the stair, and we could kind of turn the music as we thought best.
So thank you, Mr.
If that
Nook.
makes sense.
Then Mr. McCormick, just because I think there's already been a condition discussed and proposed addressing this, can you confirm that you're accepting of that condition, and also reiterate what you had said during your testimony about the hours of operation for music and how you plan to handle, how much time you're going to have that kind of sound coming out of that stage?
Sure. So the first was accepting the option number 8. Yeah, absolutely. Again, we're willing to work with the board however hours deemed necessary. And as far as the hours of operation, again, this is meant to be an accent and an addition to the offerings. It's not meant to be the primary, and it's not meant to be the primary attraction. Put it that way.
You had said those 4 hours a day on a day where there's.
Yep, and then that would be the most, and we don't necessarily have it planned to be activated 7 days a week either. So there most likely will not be live entertainment for every day of the week either. Specifically Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Specifically Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Didn't mean to cut you off.
That's I think that was.
If Dr. Chen has questions for either of those witnesses, I just want to give her the opportunity to ask.
So Mr. McCormick, in your testimony, you did indicate that the hours were until 12 midnight. I believe the hours on the weekends are till 2 a.m.
Not for music, right?
Not for music.
Not for music.
Okay. So I don't have a problem with the music. Okay, let me just be super clear about that. if you could, I think with Christian's suggestion on handling the noise, and maybe just be a little sensitive to the fact that when the door opens and closes, the noise gets out. But it's fine. I know for the board members, except for Clinton, who wasn't a member yet, but Chop Tank, there also was a very big discussion about music because there was a proposal. You have those opening doors, and would the music come out, and would that be terrible? It has not been a problem. So I'm fine with the music.
And
Dr.
with
Chen,
the
that is
with the state-of-the-art music equipment that I know they'll have, I'll bet there's a volume control.
Well, if you guys remember that actually when that issue came up for Chop Tank, it was prior to Atlas's involvement. That was back when the building was being approved with, I think, Phillips or another tenant as
Yes, that's right.
so even Brian wouldn't have any necessary memory of that. But yeah, I remember that.
That's right.
Anything else, Dr. Chen?
No, thank you.
Mr. Ramsden?
Thanks, Chairman. I on the music point, it's I think that is obviously one of the most significant concerns in this entire review of the application. I'm made comfortable by the fact that the proposed location is directly adjacent to Dock Street Restaurant, which while the noise, the music out of Dock Street is not live music, it is amplified music, and I'd have to confirm with the director of planning and zoning, but I don't believe that is a source of constant public complaint. So I think that and that also has a door that actually is commonly maintained in an open condition as I walk by there on given weekend nights, the proposed music arrangement at the Admiral's Cup location seems to be consistent or even exceeding the arrangement that is present in some existing or with going concerns in the vicinity. My real consideration for this project, and this is really a question I have, kind of an open question for Mr. Meekins as the department's representative in the project. It's a question about if there has been any consideration to adding a condition that is related to a rideshare pickup location, and whether that is something that the department ever does or has considered doing. I'm just looking at the location right now, and it seems as though directly in front of the building there is space. It's currently a paid parking area, and you'd have to really let me know honestly here, Mike, where the boundaries of discretion reside. But it seems like could be an opportunity to facilitate improved traffic flow in the vicinity of the area, with 100 new patrons coming to the area, new since Mission departed. It would create a safe environment for patrons, reduction in public parking requirements if rideshare was made to be a more accessible option into the area, and just more efficiency for drivers and riders as they're trying to locate each other outside of the establishment. So just any consideration to that? Can we place that condition and then have the applicant pay for it?
I should interject here, just because I'm sure my client would be very supportive of that. I think having had this issue come up on a couple of prior applications, the jurisdiction of the public streets is DPW. And so for the board here or DPZ to propose a condition like that, I think you'd want to first coordinate with DPW to see if they would support that and want to do that in the public street. I don't think I'll speak for Brian. If I'm wrong, Brian, interrupt me, but I think the applicant would be fully supportive of that. But before adding it as a condition, I would think Mr. Meekins and the Department of Planning and Zoning would want to confirm with DPW that they would also support that.
Yeah, so Mr. Ramsden, very interesting point, and something that maybe has not been thought about with the review of this application. And you've got a couple moving targets, one of which being the reconfiguration, redevelopment of the City Dock project, which is, it's approved, but kind of in limbo based on different issues, including funding. But I think moving forward, maybe not necessarily conditioning this application to your suggestion, but moving forward, something that planning staff and as well as DPW, as well as comprehensive planning, should be thinking outside the box, just as you have. So those are my thoughts, and I would really have to revisit the approved site plan for the dock, because it does involve eliminating a lot of the parking, the surface parking that's there now. But it also may or may not have rideshare drop points in this location. But so again, moving forward, I think that's definitely something we could consider, as well as looping in DPW.
For DPZ and for the board's consideration, especially Mr. Ramsden, the other place, and I think there's been several, but one that jumps to mind right away is Ford Brewing had a requirement for one of its administrative approvals that there be a designated rideshare spot that was internal to the parking lot. So it was not something that had to get cleared with DPW. But I think similarly, if the board is ever inclined to request or seek that kind of a condition in a public street, it does have a lot of justification and use in other jurisdictions that's a good solution to some of the circulation and parking questions that the public may have.
Mike, would you talk with the director and see if the director would like to pass along to DPW the board's suggestion that the DPW review that issue?
Absolutely.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Ramsden?
My only other consideration when reviewing the application is, I reviewed the placement of the trash cans and the proposed diagram and operational discussion regarding the movement of trash outside the building for pickup. All makes sense to me. And obviously the expansion of sidewalk width will be especially important there. I'm like Mr. Zazali, I don't have an ownership in a restaurant group, but I have an ownership, or I work for a company that has an ownership share. It owns the Middleton Tavern building across the street. This is a really important, what I call, it frames the intersection or the space between the Stevens Hardware building and the Middleton Tavern building, frame what I call the gateway to the city dock area. It's a really important area. It's a part, every pedestrian coming from that side of Middleton Tavern will enter through that zone. And so it's really important to keep clear. And so I don't think it needs to be an altered condition in the special exception application, but consideration should be given to retrieving, not only endeavoring to have the trash cans picked up by the contracted service, but also retrieved immediately upon pickup and brought back into the building. I suspect Atlas Restaurant Group has a natural kind of compelling reason to do that. I think you want the front of your storefront to look good, but I think just consideration should be due consideration should be given to retrieving the bins and brought back and having them brought back into the restaurant immediately upon contracted pickup.
Mr. McCormick?
We have no issue with that.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. Mr. Meekins, have there been any complaints about the operation at Chop Tank?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Is there any outdoor seating involved in this?
Mr. Chairman, we will eventually seek sidewalk cafe permits. Currently, it's not part of the application before you. You have to get sidewalk cafe permits for that.
Is there going to be any takeout service here?
Mr. McCormick?
There is currently no plans for takeout or catering outside of guests taking their goods to go with them.
Okay. I think that's all I had.
Should we, Mr. Chairman, make that a condition?
What's that?
No takeout.
Well, what Do they have to come back for any kind of permission to do that, Mike?
Under Title 21, don't they have the right? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, I think they're allowed by right
Okay.
to offer that.
Okay,
But it's not expected to be a big part of the
yeah,
bid.
yeah.
All right. Are we ready to close the record, mark the exhibits, and deliberate? Okay, let's do that. Mr. Zali, the honor is yours.
well, I took the time to find the September 11th conditions. I glanced through all of them, but I found the ones that I cared about, the noise and the privilege to review and revoke in its entirety the special exception should the course of events determine that be the last resort available to us. So I'm comfortable with the application. I mean, I say this as a matter of opinion, not of law or fact, that I do worry about the bar in sheep's clothing, right? The restaurant that turns into the nightclub that goes from, 9 o'clock till 2 in the morning, loud music.
Yeah.
The
ratio of bar seats to table seats is
suggestive.
points in that direction.
Right. So we'll just have to, do our job and pay attention to it. And the city will have to recognize that we've burdened them a little with some fact finding should it come to that. Other than that, I'm comfortable.
Otherwise, you're satisfied they meet.
I'm satisfied. They're good. They're a good operator, right? They're not unknown to the region. So they have skin in the game, so to speak. They want to be good neighbors.
Dr. Chen?
I would just ask, since, Mike, we do rely on your staff report that the correction to the number of seats be made. I would think the applicant would want that as well, because there are fewer seats than what's planned, so,
Yeah,
I
we do reference that in our decisions usually, so
yeah.
be good to have it corrected.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman and Dr. Chen for that.
Mr. Ramsden?
In my determination, it's consistent with the surrounding area. There are, I think you could make the case that Dock Street, which I think is a great restaurant, great food, it also does, tend to be almost, I think, 100% kind of bar seats after a certain time. And yeah, the record here demonstrates that there was no public comment received about the proposal, suggesting that the neighborhood is expecting a concept that's consistent with what's pre-existing in the local area. So
You mean they've been desensitized?
I'm in that area commonly, a Ward 1 resident, but also a business owner in the immediate vicinity, and so we care deeply about it. I'm confident that if there is some sort of noise issue, one of our interest areas is in direct vicinity, so I would communicate that quickly to the department. And the staff report and the conditions clearly present a mechanism to communicate those issues. So that in my review allows this application to be consistent with the criteria for approvability. And I think thanks a lot, Mr. Meekins, for the discussion on the ride share. I think that could be something that the operator, residents, anyone driving in the vicinity, you've seen this used really successfully in airports. Totally different application, but same result achieved. So thanks for your consideration of the discussion.
All right, I think I agree with everything that my colleagues have said. It looks like you've satisfied the conditions based on the evidence in the application and what we've heard tonight. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve special exception 2025005 with the revised September 11th conditions, the corrected seat counts, and any other conditions that the applicant or through Mr. Dells has accepted. For the testimony provided, the evidence in the staff report, and that's it.
Is there a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
All right. Mr. Dales, thank you. Mr. McCormick, good luck. Look forward to testing the new operation.
We look forward to hosting and being a continued part of the community.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening.
All right. Kim, anything
you.
else we need to do?
No, sir, that's it for the agenda.
Any kind of a preview for October? Mike, you know what's going on for October?
I see Kim in the background, and she's got a menu for the board members to look at.
Yes, I have 5 things on the docket. They will all go quickly except for one. I can assure you.
Well, that's one too many, Kim. You'll have to try harder.
Question. I have, one is just an extension request. 2 are just maybe 2 are simple side yard variances. And 3 and 4 are basically, it's 2 new vacant lots that are right next to each other, so they'll be heard as one project, even though it's 2 separate application numbers, because they're two separate lots. That is the one that might take a little bit of time. I don't expect it. I'm sorry.
Lot consolidation?
No, it was a subdivision that was facing Ridgely Avenue, and they did a subdivision to switch the lots to face Arundel Place before the Critical Area Commission would even entertain the 5 variances that they are asking for.
Gotcha. That sounds like it's going to take more than 10 minutes.
You can't tease those 2 side yards to administrative application only.
It is, so they're asking for a front yard setback to push the front is close. It's steep slopes in the buffer. There's a perennial stream going through the
I'm
property.
talking about the 2 easy ones. You can't
Oh,
get them off the docket. You can't admin them.
no, because they're not even like inches. They're like 15 feet to 6 feet.
Oh,
They're too much, but they're not going to take any time. I mean, one's right next to a paper street, and one is like a house that has been there, forever. So they're not, I don't anticipate, a knock on wood, any controversy.
We may surprise you, Kim.
Yeah, we may do it on purpose.
Right, just to
I mean, you might not like it. That's your decision.
to keep you off balance over there.
No, I'm already off balance. But there might be some people out against the 700 Arundel Place. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell. Whenever there's a vacant lot and people don't necessarily like things to change, so sometimes that can get some people out, but we shall see.
All right. We'll do what we've got to do.
Yep.
Did you see my email, Bob? I just wanted to know if you saw that.
No.
Oh, it went to your other email. I don't know where I sent it.
Right.
One of your other ones.
I'll look at it.
Yeah.
Thank you all very much.
Good.
All right.
Sure.
Have a
See
good
you in
night.
October.
Yep.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.